Hey, hey, hey. Camera's on. Come on, I'm testing out my camera skills. What are we doing tonight? Pioneer. Wait, I gotta make sure this is all coming on here. Hold on. I'm checking my iPad, first of all. Ken's in the house. Congratulations, Ken. Kristen Marshman, you're there. Trying to see if my page, if I'm gonna be able to follow this on here or what's going on. There I am. Now I've got two screens going, so I can look at the comments. Rita, you're in the house. Watching on your big screen. No, I'm gonna say hi here and see if that pops up. All right. Good evening. Welcome back to the family show. A little different format tonight. I want to welcome you guys for tuning in.
We're a bit late.
We're better late than never, Ricky. Hey, you know what? Were the birds late? Absolutely they were late. Why were they late today, Ricky? Do you know why they were late? Really? What's the real reason on why pigeons come late?
They fool around.
They're learning.
My birds came today and I had 2 plugs with them.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable.
That's crazy. Hey, Ken.
And they were a bit on the long side.
They're learning. They're learning.
The worst thing I find when you're training young birds is you take them on a toss and then you get back to your loft and you sit and wait. And you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. And you know, you hit that time where you go, where are these birds?
You start to panic.
And then you start panicking.
Yeah. Tunnel, wait, hold on. Tunnel sound. Shit. Tunnel.
No sound?
Tunnel sound. All right, let me just adjust this.
You can adjust it. Should I keep talking or not really?
Yeah, keep going.
And you're waiting, and then you've got a time. You got a time when you release them, and you figure they should be back at this time, and you're waiting, and you're 10 minutes after, and then you're half an hour after, and then you're 40 minutes after, and you think, oh no, I lost them. They're gone. And then magically, they all showed up.
Magically, they showed up. Now, Tony, let's see if this is working better. Let us know. Again, we tried the earbud. He's beside me, so hopefully it can pick up what he's saying.
Oh, so I don't have any...
Well, no, we're doing this a little differently today.
Oh.
Much better. Thank you. Yeah, so getting back to it.
You don't have one of those for me?
You don't need one. Do you want to just put one in?
Yeah.
You can't hear nothing. Nobody's talking to you in this here.
They're only talking to you.
They're only talking to me. So
this is a one-sided deal.
Well, no, you're...
So anyways, all of a sudden, the whole group comes in, and bang, they hit the roof, and my dog's barking here. Don't just leave her. She's just a little jealous there. And they all come in, and then you say to yourself, oh, see? What were you worried about? They're all there, you know what I mean? So yesterday, I took them for a toss, and they beat me home. They beat me home.
Now
from, what was it? How many miles?
You're doing something though differently than normal. I'm
always different.
You're jumping.
Yeah.
You went from 2 miles on 3 miles on the first toss, 9 miles on the second toss, now 20 miles on the third toss.
Yeah. I took 130 birds.
How many do you think you're down?
I'm down a couple. And believe it or not, those two birds I'm down. I should have eliminated them before I even took them, because I just knew that this isn't going to be the deal.
They're too far.
That's it, right? So the way I look at it is, if they fly around this loft for an hour and a half, right? Mm-hmm. They can take that no problem. Otherwise, they're really a bunch of dummies. Okay. I had some birds in there, young ones, that I'd say 3 weeks ago. They were kind of late in my loft. And I put 3 weeks ago, I had them, they were still squeaking.
Right.
but they've been flying with my birds for an hour and a half.
And you don't lose them.
I'm not losing.
Now, here's a fun.
And you know what I said?
Fun.
You know what I said when I took them?
What? Good evening.
Basically, when I put them in the loft, right?
I know, you said liver guy.
No, I said, I don't need these birds in the loft. I shouldn't have them in the loft, but I put them in, and they got on the bicycle, and they started flying around, and now I take them on the toss, and I say, hey, you can't do it, can't do it. But they're doing it, no problem.
A funny story. We always forget. We look at all these races around, and guys, people that don't realize this, I think we've forgotten it because we've done it for so many years. We've put it back in our heads. But with our own birds and our one loft birds, we're darkening. And I slightly think that darkening does something to the brain a little bit. Makes them a bit, what do we say? And they say in the States there, it's the dumbing system. It's the dumbing system.
I actually called it dumbing system.
Dumbing system, yeah.
And then the guys in the States,
they said the same thing.
No, they listened to me.
They listened to you. Okay.
It's all over the States.
Now, I even heard about it in Singapore. I was in Singapore. They said, Ricky, with the dumbing system. But darkened pigeons, I think they're a bit stupid. And I also do think early bred pigeons, okay, pigeons that were bred, that were banded January the 1st, if you do not have the time to get them out at the correct age, you have basically big, strong-looking teenagers. Perfect example. Put a 15-year-old boy, okay, on a bicycle for the first time. How's that going to be?
By the time I was 15, I was riding bicycles backwards.
Right, but you get what I'm saying? Yeah, meanwhile, you put a 2-year-old on the bicycle. He gets on it. He crashes 3 times. He barely cries. By the afternoon, he's riding like a,
100%. I've been visiting some of my farm friends, and they says I need this or that or something, and he says, John, get on the tractor and go pick him up, whatever it is out there, and bring it over here. The boy's 8 years old. Yeah. He's on a tractor.
Oh, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, you teach them how to ride the bike early. And that's why sometimes I look at even the loss that we had with the pioneer birds.
Right.
We had birds that flew 150 to 170 miles the wrong way. Fun fact, eh? Fun fact.
Right.
That group was by far the oldest group.
If I can ask
old group.
I can ask you a question. How many miles did those birds already have underneath their belt in road training? That was the 10th toss that those birds decided.
They had probably 50 miles already, 60 miles.
That's all?
Well, they had 4 2-milers or 3. They had 4 3-milers, 4 9-milers.
12 miles.
Okay.
It's 36 miles.
They had almost 100. They had 100 road miles.
100 road miles plus how much loft flying did they do?
Right. Plus they're out 8 hours to 9 hours a day. Wait. Jay-Z, what are you saying? And probably wearing red shorts. Yeah, that's right. They're probably wearing red shorts. But in all honesty, if you look at it, the younger birds did better. And is it a fluke? Is it a coincidence? Not all of them. Not all of them. No. There's some older birds here that are doing great.
There's some young ones there that are really, really slow and stupid, okay? But take for an example, we had Carlos Textera, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He brought a bird here, was it 2 weeks ago?
No, he brought us a pigeon. He was late. He was in Portugal. He got back late. He wanted to participate in our race. Normally, Carlos has his birds banded January the 1st. And he brings his birds always early. They're always big. They're always strong. Never a problem.
About this one bird.
This one bird.
Right.
But this year, he was in Portugal.
Right.
He didn't get his birds together. And he brought, hey, Barbie and Gerard, he took a photo on it, was about May 13th. Okay?
They were in the nest.
This big in your hand. Okay? Yeah. Just feathered out, right? Still wet under the wings. And he said to me, Ryan, can I please? You know what? I said, Carlos, the hill's like this for them, right? That's the hill. You put them on this hill.
Right. He
brought them May 20th. Okay? He brought them May 20th.
May 20th.
Okay?
But those birds today
Today,
are roughly 56 or 58 days old. That bird.
that bird.
That bird.
And that bird's
That means it's how
the
old?
bird's
8 weeks old.
Okay.
It's 8 weeks old.
The bird's still here. The bird's been on all the training flights. Hold on. The poor bird only loft flew for about a week. And I'm telling you, I had to get it get going, you know what I'm saying?
But it's only 56 or 58, 56 days old.
Right.
That's incredible.
But
and that toss you had last week that wasn't so great, it came through that.
yeah,
right?
it did. It got a little lucky. It had a little bit of smarts. It could stay on the wing. People don't realize. Last week, you look at some of the teams. Forget that yellow team. All the other teams, some of them were on the wing 2.5 to 3 hours. Was that a good toss? That was a great toss. Because number one, it rips and tears and develops new muscle, takes them to the next level. The downside is, hey, you drop pigeons. We're not here to drop pigeons.
I told a good friend of mine one time that you will not really know your youngsters until they've been on the wing 2 hours.
Right.
Okay? And he agreed with me.
Agreed.
You know?
Wait a minute. You see different pigeons, right? You start to see its concentration, and you seen it there today. The yellow team today, they were an hour and 15 minutes. Wait, they were bad today. The worst team of the day. But the blue team that was on the wing the last time at that spot, almost 3 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it was. They cut the time right down. You could see a little bit difference in them.
Wasn't it the yellow team? I can't remember now. I let them out. Actually,
guys,
Gerard was with me, giving me a hand, and I want to say thanks. It was good. But I think we let the yellow team out, and then the red team was the last team, wasn't it?
When? Today, the red team was the last team. The team that got pulverized.
Yeah, but they beat
the
yellow
they won
team.
the points. They were the fastest.
Yeah.
The team that, and there's a fun fact. The team that did shit, right? That blew away, all those pigeons. There was about 9 reds that made it back. Obviously 3 got pulled out. That's too bad on that part. But all the rest of them today, they earned the point. They did it in 31 minutes. Is it great time? No, it's not great time. But geez, they didn't end up in Tobamori, did they?
Well,
and another thing.
They did it in 31 minutes. They flew 20 miles, roughly 30 kilometers. So that's almost 20 miles.
Right.
They had an east wind, dead east, at 6 miles an hour. That's
and there was some south in it. That's
roughly 10 kilometers, a little more than 10 kilometers an hour, right on from the east. It was hazy, very hazy.
Again, not a perfect sky.
And humid.
Humid.
I think it was about 28 degrees. Sticky, humid. So it wasn't. So to do 18, 19, what was it, 19 miles? 19 miles or 20 miles in 31 minutes.
Not bad.
That's pretty darn good.
That's pretty darn good.
The amazing part was, they were the last out.
They were the last out, and they did it the quickest. They did it the quickest.
One team today passed the other team.
Yeah, well, the yellow team was yellow team was out to lunch.
Gerard and I watched them take off. One team.
Okay. So let's just not go back and forth on how they did. The times are the times, and that's it. Main thing is the birds make it back. The birds are learning. The birds are learning at their pace. I can't make them learn any quicker. Now.
No, but I was coming back and watching for your birds when you're training like this. Okay. I remember training when I was working, and I'd take the things up the road, and I'd let them out in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd go about my work all day. And no electronic clock, no one to watch for them. I just put a little breakfast inside, so when they came, they had some breakfast, And when I come home at night after work, 5 or 6 o'clock, I walk in the loft. They're all in. You know what I told all my friends? I had a beautiful toss today. I didn't lose a bird. Every single bird did. It was 100% perfect.
Right.
But if I was to go home and sit and wait for them,
you pull your hair out.
I'd say I took them 20 miles, 30 kilometers, and my God, it took them an hour and 20 minutes to get home, and they came home half, and then the next thing, 10 minutes later, another half. I'd say, and I dropped one. Oh, my birds did terrible today. So what I'm
Well,
saying, it's almost the worst thing to wait for them.
and that's the nice part. I find once you get the birds out to that first race, once you get the birds to the first race, you can go training, and it's almost fun because you let them out from trainer, you get in your car, pick up the speed a bit, you get home, and they beat you home. And it's like there's no more thinking. Right now, all the young birds around, they're all in play mode. 90% of them are in play mode, and they look to get into trouble. And again, that's what I say. The darkened pigeons, a little bit dumber. Sometimes the older ones, yes, they look good. Do they have it all there? They've learned to ride the bike a little later in life. And I think that it does make it a little bit
I know
dumber.
I train young birds. I train them up to 50 miles, and I'd let them out there and well, maybe not 50 miles, be a little shorter, 40 miles. Let them out. Take them an hour and a half to come home. An hour and a half to come home. An hour and a half to come home. I'm going, what? Come on, what's going on? And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
bang, 45 minutes,
They
38 minutes.
They start to
bang.
clue it.
You know, I know one time I used to train up. I'd take them to Bradford.
Well,
and an hour and a half from Bradford. Holy mackerel! It's only like 15 miles, 10 miles, whatever it was. Oh, then all of a sudden, I can remember one day I come home, I look in the backyard, I didn't see any pigeons, right? Had the chute open, didn't see any pigeons. I'm going, Jesus, where are they? I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. I watched the loft. I sat there. I don't know what I did. I walked in the loft just for look at something.
Yeah.
Some bird. They were all inside. They beat me. They were inside.
Yeah. Well, and that's what happens. But you got to get to that level. You don't start training. It doesn't go perfect. And so, you know, for the new guys, I know there's new guys that they get down. You can hear them getting down. And same thing. I do the show there. You do the show. When you're watching for birds and you're waiting and the weather's good in my eyes, but other people, you know, you can feel the eyes burning you through the camera going, oh, you train him in this shit, you're going to crash and burn, right? The worst thing we do is we sit and we watch, but that's part of the show. So for new guys, a good tip is
don't train in tornadoes.
Don't watch for them.
Hurricanes. I don't do tornadoes or hurricanes.
And don't watch for them at the start because you'll drive yourself nuts.
Right, but I feel you have to train them in everything. In nice days,
sure.
In headwinds,
sure.
Heat,
sure.
Whatever.
Sure.
A little bit of drizzle.
You want to know what's great? We're sitting there today.
Right.
Touch your phone. We're sitting there today. I watched there from the red team, or not from the red team, from the green team, Roush. Roush comes in for Robbie Taylor. He gets his bird back. Bird doesn't feel bad. What's the questions?
They want to know. They want to get a couple things up.
All right. Wait, hold on. Swoop Loop. Have you ever put GPS on any of the birds? No, I don't. I'm not wasting my time with GPS. Because if you really want to have a great training toss, put GPS on your birds. Because all you'll end up doing is going nuts. What we use is draw the line from point A to point B, a straight line. 50 miles. The birds fly roughly, if there's no wind, 40, 42 miles an hour. You can figure it out. Pigeons got to take their lines. You can tell. But GPS, I'm not into that. I wouldn't waste my time. I just think it's a nice fantasy, but that's not my thing.
I think it's nice if you have the money and you want to play around with something. I think it's probably nice thing to get. Just gives you a little fun.
I still wonder though, does the GPS screw up the field of the bird at all? I just wonder. I heard people say it does. I don't know anything about it. I'm not using it. No. But good question there. What were we saying? I can't even remember. We're talking about, geez.
I wanted to, we talk about new flyers, new people coming into the sport. And you talk to anybody that's been in this game between, let's say, 30 years and 70 years, 75 years, they've been in this game. Any of those people, they never... you didn't have the internet, if you're lucky, maybe you got a book, but I always say you can't learn to be a good plumber through the internet. You got an idea, you need torch, you need a bit of heat. But to do the job,
you got to get your hands in there and do it.
You can't be a real good brain surgeon through the internet,
Right?
right? Okay. So you can't learn to be a hockey player through the internet. You get the idea. The puck comes, you got to get it on a stick, and then you got to pass it and shoot it over there. But I mean, you got to have contact with it. Personal contact to be something,
right.
to be what you want to be. So what I'm saying, you can't race a horse unless or be a jockey unless you ride the darn thing and ride it and ride it and ride it.
Right. And in that time of riding, you fall off.
Too many people I find that go on this internet thing. They come out marching with their chest up, saying, "Guess what?
You want to know another thing too?
And do you want to know something?
Hold on. You know what? I love it. You go out and spend, eh? Watch this. I spent $50,000 at Jansen Brothers.
Right.
I did. Let's say I did. I went there. Bang! I bought all the birds.
Right.
The next thing, you get this entitlement over you, this feeling that you've bought all their wins. Do you get that? It's like you've won what they've won because you have their birds. I seen a guy there. He's walking around. He's flown 3 races in his life. Chest out to here, making judgment calls. Stay in your lane. I lost more pigeons.
Well, more.
You will. I lost them. I know how to lose them.
A lot more races.
I lost pigeons. I lost races. But I'm saying people buy pigeons and they think because I bought the pigeons, I now own the guy's wins as well. Like, oh, I got this guy's birds. I'm friends with this guy, and he's helping me out. Anybody can help you out. Anybody can help you out. But remember, you're not that guy. You're going to put your spin on it. You're going to misinterpret feeding a pigeon 1.25 ounces, break that down into 5 times a day. You'll feed that all season and your birds will have no gas. Been there, done it. I done it. Same thing. We tell guys give them this much feed in the morning, this much feed at night, or this much feed throughout the day. They double up the feed. I didn't understand what you were saying. So remember, buying pigeons doesn't mean you're going to be no winner. You gotta work at it, and you have to fail at it, and you got to be okay with failing. It's okay. This sport is great for that.
That's all I was going to say. It's like I know when I started racing pigeons, there was one fella in the club. He'd been doing it for 50 years, and you start walking around as a young flyer, and you win one race, or you come up in the top 10, or you thought you trained them every day 30 miles, and they were coming like bullets, and you didn't lose anything. So you're walking around with your chest up, and the guy that's been doing it 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, he just looks at you and says, and I've had it said to me, Richard, yes? Oh, but you're only a pigeon keeper. You're not a pigeon flyer. And you look and you think, what's this guy saying? Is he a nutcase? But no, he's right.
Right.
Well,
and like Kelly Stone's asking, and I believe she's asking, the older flyers now have to adapt with the internet and all this stuff. Yeah, everyone has to adapt. And what's great for new flyers, I think what's great for new flyers is they have this internet stuff and they can go on and they can do all this research. But I think there's so much shit that gets thrown at you. You don't know what biscuit you're swallowing, what drink you're drinking.
I think you can get a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like, I just bought a Ferrari.
Yeah.
I got to go on the internet, and it says, put the key in the ignition. Now, push the left pedal in.
Right.
Okay. Shove it in, and next thing you know, you think you're racing. You know what I mean. I'm just saying, come on.
No, but that's the thing. You can't buy people's wins. You can buy their birds, and I seen it.
He's going to sell it to you because He's got high quality pigeons. And say, hey,
but what do we?
hey, my friend.
Okay, so
I got the money, eh?
Okay,
I'm going to buy
what
those high quality.
What do we say?
He'll look right through you.
He knows,
if
sure.
he sees you, and he'll go, well, you know, this is going to help you out a bit.
Right.
Like, for example, I got some guys here that sent me birds that I'm looking after, right? And I'm telling you the truth. They're absolute garbage.
Right.
Okay? Garbage. This thing ain't going to make it. But the man, whoever sent it, thought this stuff is excellent stuff. So I'm saying, if you start out with garbage, I can say to you guys, I got some garbage if you want. Come on and get it. Real garbage. You know what? You're going to have less chance of doing anything. But if you get some half decent, good blood from a good flyer, you have a better chance of doing it, right?
Right, but again, I don't care if you got the money and you buy the pigeons. If you don't put the work ethic in, and you know, and again, just because you buy the pigeons, you put the work ethic in, but you're a new flyer, and you know what? Shit's not going your way, you know, because you got to learn, right? Don't pack it in and get discouraged or get mad at somebody who's handling your birds and cry and whine and bitch and moan. You know what? You bred 100 youngsters this year. I hope you have one good pigeon this year, and you're on year 50 of this shit. You know what I mean? You don't have to answer. Just hit the end button, please. So, for the new guys, you know, don't get so down. Don't get down, and don't get down. I see other people too. They'll buy an expensive pigeon, okay? The expensive pigeon they buy, they breed out of it, and the babies are no good. But then, for some fluke of imagination, the next year, the babies that were no good, you bred out of them, and they're the ones that breed. Sometimes it skips generations. I've seen that. You have the tools. Now you have to learn how to use them. Yeah, well, and it takes time to learn how to use those tools. It's not easy. I mean, you can be training. You could be on training tots 15 or 20, and your birds are coming all great. And remember, they come great. You're feeling great. These birds are perfect. Leah said to us last week, oh, these birds are doing so good. I said, well, we haven't started training yet. Well, what does that mean? You know what? Watch. Take them like this. Shake. Bang. Let's go. Bang. Let's go. Hold on. Last week, you know what we got? Last week we started training pigeons.
Oh, that's right.
And that's the truth. So, new guys, it's all going perfect. You haven't started training yet. They haven't got into the troubles. And the troubles is what gives them the education.
Okay, I talked to, I can mention his name, Mo, came with me yesterday.
Right.
Okay?
And I'm going
to point something out. Mo flew pigeons in Morocco. And they liberate 36,000 pigeons weekly in races in Morocco. He belonged to a club, and they ship around 800 pigeons a week.
Right.
And I said to Mo and I were talking, and he's got some good, sensible thoughts in his mind. I said, well, how did you used to fly down in Morocco, Mo? He said, you know, I used to fly real good. I said, oh, yeah, what kind of, what positions you were in? Just to tell you how the competition was, right?
Right.
He said, well, it was pretty good. He said, I was usually between 150th and 300th
right.
on the schedule. And that's
how
tough it was. But he accepted that and was always working ahead. Okay, working ahead.
Yeah.
He said they flew in usually 40-degree temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
They had to fly some spots through mountains and over desert.
And like Thomas says, just when you think you know them, just when you think, you know, you're pumping your chest up, boy, these birds are invincible. Just when you think you know them, they show you, whoops, we don't know anything. Another fun fact, fun story we always talk about here. Jim Groves. Great story.
Right.
He was a hard-nosed pigeon guy. He liked to fly the pigeons. He thought a little different, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He drove the birds. This is a typical story. And these are the pigeon.
100% true.
These
true
are the
story.
pigeon men. I don't see many of them. The new guy.
No,
You don't see this.
In those days, we were
Right.
in that Stouffville club.
Right.
We had Irish guys, Scotch guys, English guys,
Germans, Belgians,
every kind of
everything.
guy. And so finish your story.
And Jim took the birds 113 miles to Berks Falls for a training toss.
Yeah.
He drove there in his car. He got up there and it was raining.
It was just pee and rain.
Pee and rain, piss and rain. It was raining. And what did he do?
I said to him, Jim, how was it? He said, I got up there and it was pee and rain. I said, holy jumping, Jim. Would you have to, I guess you brought him back, did you?
Right.
He says, no way. He says, I let him go. I says, whoa. He said, you think I'm going to drive to Berks Falls and turn around and drive him back? I said, well, geez. He said, yeah, they'll get soaked. They'll land in a field, shake themselves off, and get their butt home.
Well, there you go, right?
Right.
But, today we got the weather radar. The other day, 2 days ago, I had Frank Eichhorn. They were watching the weather. We didn't know this, but they were watching the weather bullshit that was going over us.
Yeah.
Some green storm was going over us.
Right.
Well, we trained them, and they came great. The birds came, boom, right through. They thought, holy shit, you got to be going through some type of
it's a bad day.
bad thing, and they came good. So I think a little bit of that old way is good. But I think a lot of the new today are so worried. It's like you're questioning everything you do. They're pigeons. You've fed them right. You've loft flown them good. They're out of good breeding, and you're working them. It's not horrible weather. Go to work with them. You're going to be okay.
And a lot of times you spend a lot of money on birds, and you raise a couple pair of young ones, and those are out of that pair I spent good money on. They come from him, okay? And, you take them and then you hit a bad day or a bad race and you say, well, those young ones, I got to stock them right away. I know we went to Francis and Verdun. And we went to look at the birds and I seen his young bird team there or a yearling team, whatever it was. And I said, oh, they look pretty good, eh? I said, that blue bar, look at that bird. Wow. What's that out of? He said, oh, I don't know. He has all the numbers written down. I don't look at the numbers until the races are over.
That's
and
right.
Then I'd say, I look at who's ever there left. Now I know.
They play no
They don't
favorite.
favoritize nothing.
And if you guys want if you're an internet kind of guy, you like to look at stuff, on Facebook, you go follow Emil Denny's. He's got a new, his Facebook page up. The articles that he's putting out from like 1960 of races when he flew Barcelona. And he talks about great write-ups and great stories. And, we flew Barcelona. It took me 3 days and I was still I was the 5th national ace. And he says the birds had to fly through the shit and this and that. And you know what? You don't see in any of the articles it was bullshit weather. The driver was horrible. There's no excuses. Everyone's up there and they're all playing together. Now I know I was here in the garage for a club meeting and I had people say to me, "Well, we're not flying in Portugal. We're not flying in Belgium, and we're not." No, we're not. You're right. But I'm going to tell you something. The Swedish hockey team? They're almost now better than the Canadians, and the Czechs are better than the Canadians, and the Russians are better than the Canadians. You want to know what they use? They use goddamn hockey sticks, hockey skates, and they play. Right? But here, we look and we go like this. We got to make it, we're not in Poland. We're not in Romania. We're not in Belgium. Hey. That's why when we go over there to play this game, we don't. You send Canadian soccer players over there play soccer, they get it fucking handed to them. Because we don't play the same way. That's me.
I know Mo was telling me, and those, I believe it's they liberate 30,000 birds. And he said out of 30,000 birds at a certain distance, 900 kilometers, they're lucky if they get 1,000 back.
Oh, sure.
The rest of them, the desert, he said, kills them. The heat kills them. They got to crawl through mountains. That gets them down.
And here we are. What are we worrying about here? Like, we just get we get it all worried. And I even seen this year in combine racing. Simple racing, simple releases. People got it all jacked up and screwed up and twisted up. One guy's afraid of too much sun. One guy's afraid of too much cloud. The other one says, I just bought these expensive pigeons. Hold on. All the pigeons I bought, they're expensive. They come from Europe. Do you know the guys in Europe, they race them, eh? They don't sit there and goo-goo gaga over them.
They race the young ones.
They race the pigeons. They
That's
race
right.
the birds.
That's
Go out
right.
and race them. That's what they're there for.
That's right.
But on that note, training, continues.
You talk about flying, for example, in Belgium. I was there a couple times in the last 3-4 years. Honestly, the wind is like this. Like this wind. It's not like no wind or a little bit of wind. We're talking that wind. Right off the ocean.
Yeah.
Blowing the birds.
Throughout the whole country, anywhere you go, there's always good heavy breeze.
I don't think they get a wind that pushes them from land to the ocean. It's the low ocean pushing everybody off.
And, I never hear when I'm there in any of those countries, I never hear them complaining about liberations or weather. They don't complain. They play the game. They keep playing the game. And hundreds of years of playing, they all got real thick skin. Now, I'm sure there's wimps there too, but a lot of the ones I've talked to, very, look at the day. The day we had the big toss, Peter Vrays was on. This is going to be a good toss today. Right? He meant it.
A good learning
toss.
Good
learning toss. Yeah. And you know what it was. But getting back to it, today again, we had another 2 birds come back. Dave Ottaway, the number 61 bird, Dave. I don't know whose bird that is. Didn't scan in the clock because we had the clock running. The last 2 digits of the bird is 61. It clocked. Body wasn't bad on it at all.
No.
Was it? You handled it.
Oh no.
It wasn't pooched.
A couple days, she'll be right back.
Right back. Okay.
She feels like she flew a good hard headwind at about 450 miles, let's say 700, 800 kilometers.
Get a load of this one. The grizzle came back today from that was donated by Wayne Bodwine for Robbie Taylor. The bird come up way high. Right. And I went, okay, this has got to be one of our birds.
Right.
It hit the twisted sister. Okay, whang. Right. It turned. Whang. Right on the board. You can see it on the camera. Ran right in. Bird feels down. You want to know what though? That bird, you ain't going to lose him now. I could see it in his brain. He just went like this.
You've seen him be in.
I'm coming. Yeah. Sorry about that. Let me build up and we'll go back to battle again. I've said to people already, we've had good pigeons that have been out for 2, 3, 4 weeks. They come back. The feathers are sun bleached. The bird's not in the best shape. Bird comes back. Give it ample amount of time. Reprogram it. Sometimes those pigeons can be your best ones.
The only problem is if they've been out for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, sometimes they learn those bad habits.
It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50. But we've had them. That they become real damn good pigeons.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because, and I seen that in that grizzle. When I seen him hit the board, he didn't go like, okay, now where the hell am I? No. He hit the board. He turned. He heard the song and he just went, whoop.
Well, I know that 1981, the hen we had there, we called her she was the long-lack hen, and then we changed it to the Kenora hen.
Right.
She flew long-lack 4 times in the long races in her life, and Kenora once. I wrote down her race mileage in her life. She raced 21,000 miles in her life.
Okay, a lot of mileage.
Yeah, and that's not talking about training tosses.
Right.
Okay. I lost her as a young bird. She was gone for 3 weeks.
Right.
Come home. I, took care of her. She was in good shape, gone for 3 weeks.
Right.
She was fielding whatever the world she was doing.
Right.
2 weeks later, after she arrived, I popped her into a tomogamy we had, which is 321 miles, which is, I don't know how many kilometers.
No, it's about 260 miles. No.
221.
221 miles, yeah.
Tomogamy. Club, I think it was a club. We had an open little club race or something. Put some money in there and whatever. She came on Saturday. Saturday was race day. They liberated him. It was raining. It was one of those days where it just rain. And I thought, there's no way we're going to get a daybird today.
Remember, this was in the 80s.
It's going to be a smash.
This was in the 80s.
Right. And if she was coming in a good time, it was going to be, I think, 1 o'clock.
Right.
I thought, you know what? I mean, I'm thinking about the group that I sent, not just her.
Right.
Start looking at 1 o'clock. Let's start looking. Start watching. Start looking. You wouldn't believe it. Steady rain.
Okay.
She come about 1:30.
Yeah.
I won $250.
Right.
She won the race.
Right.
Not a lot. Like, it was a good feeling, right?
Good feeling.
But I'm saying the bird was gone. Right. I lost her as a young bird for 3 weeks.
But what happened was when she came back, she said in her brain, I ain't doing that again. And there you raced her, 21,000 miles?
She raced 21,000 miles after that.
Miles. That's right. And you never lost her? She didn't have
4 times long lap.
Yeah.
Which is, what is that? 900 kilometers? 850 kilometers. 525 miles to here.
Right. And
800
and Kenora ones. We got a question. Have a hen now that stays out on the very first toss. Rain next day. Couldn't train. Next day I took them to the same spot. She found the flock and came home. Yeah. She was one of my first ever since. There you go. You see? Bird just picked it up. Sometimes it's okay to make a mistake. How many of us, you learn from your mistakes? You learn from your mistakes. See, pigeons is the same way. Now, there's some pigeons that never make a mistake. But I'm going to tell you, if you were to really track all the pigeons, they make a mistake somewhere. They do. And if there's anybody that's saying, I'm doing these tosses and everything's perfect and hunky-dory, I'm sorry. I don't buy it. Ryan, hold on, Ryan. Us in Thunder Bay have to adapt to fly east. The Falcons, tremendous. Okay, Lake Superior, 180 miles a hour. We have to adapt. Fly. Guys, read Cam's. Cam, you wrote a big thing, man. I'm not good at reading. I start to screw up. This course is new to us, so they're gonna fly a new course. It's a tough course. I know where you guys are flying from. I looked at it. It looks. You guys have a tough course. You got lots of water there. And you know what? I like the support from Thunder Bay. I like the Thunder Bay guys here flying pigeons. Too bad it's hard,
I think sometimes it's good that your bird stays out at night because they don't like that. I think it's good. If you can lock your birds out and leave them out at night, they don't like that. They like to be in their loft. If you leave them out, they get scared, homesick. You've seen, but I don't like doing that. I don't like locking them out.
You won't
because
do
you
that.
get I won't do it because you get it. But I'm saying if they stay out at night, they learn a lesson. If you lock them out, maybe you get an owl comes, going to pick some off, scare them badly. A coon goes up there and eats them. I don't recommend to do that. What I'm saying, when they stay out at night, they learn a lesson.
Right. And I've seen you got birds the odd time, you got 3-4 babies out on the roof that don't want to come in, you just say hell with it and shut the chute.
Yeah.
Okay? We're not saying to lock your birds up, please. Don't come after us with that. If your birds are loft flying and they fly off into the night, hey, that's not bad. It happens. We've had that happen. But guys, don't be so afraid. I think that's the thing. And you got to the pigeons got to make mistakes, and you got to make mistakes, and you work on those mistakes together in a season. There's nobody that starts with 100 babies and finishes with 100. It may happen 3 times in your life, but I don't think it really happens that often. And, you know, with this show that we do with Pioneer, we put ourselves out there so you can see from start to finish the whole story. There's a story. In every season, there's a story. This is our story. We're right now into the 20-mile training. We had a doozy of a toss. What's great about these pigeons? They still keep coming. Since we lost them, we're getting 2 to 3 back a day, slowly coming back, slowly coming back. You know what? That tells me they made a mistake, but they got it here to come back.
Remember, can you hear the people or what? You can?
No, I got the speaker there.
Oh.
Why?
Oh, you
I'm reading this off of here.
Can they hear us? Oh, I
They
guess they
can hear us. You see, we read off of this because,
okay.
guys, look, you're right here with us. Hold on. Somebody's writing. What about gifted good pigeons? Do you let them fly after a year or so?
What do you mean? Stop. Keep going.
Gifted. You know what? I think if someone gifts you a pigeon and like they gift it to you and they say like they don't want it back, you can do what you want with it.
I don't think they mean that. I think they mean
what about gifted pigeons?
Gifted pigeons means a pigeon that shows more than the others. I think.
What about gifted pigeons? Do you let them fly after a year or so?
Or do you stock them? That's what I think this is what he's saying. If they fly excellent as young birds every race, and as a yearling they fly excellent, so that'd be 2 years. They're gifted to accomplish. Do you take them and stop? What do you call it?
Fly them, breed out of them.
I think that's what they're saying.
No, I think Frank's saying if
gifted pigeons, a pigeon as a.
What about a gifted pigeon?
Yeah, that means a super pigeon. Right.
Do you let them fly? Yeah, sure, fly them. Hey, you know what? In your lifetime, you only get so many good pigeons. When you get one, you know what's great? I'm going to say this. We bred the Englehart Open winner. It was a real good pigeon.
Yep.
Really good. The pigeon, man, he did good. He was a consistent, good young pigeon. We turned around and we flew him as an old bird.
Yearling.
A yearling. And you know what? We flew him 12 weeks. We flew him to the Hearst Open, and we were first and second with half brothers.
Okay.
And Dave Ottaway was third. And they wouldn't accept our entry, right? Ron Hasty passed away now. He didn't accept our entry that we put in. The trailer driver didn't take it. They wouldn't accept it.
What happened?
And Dave Ottaway won it. Dave Ottaway, well, we still topped the combine. But those two birds, two half brothers, was first and second. The roller coaster, we called that pigeon the roller coaster.
Yeah.
He won the Englehart Open, the Hearst Open. And you want to know what was so goddamn great? 2 weeks later, we took him to Long Lac.
And lost him.
And we lost him. But you know what?
We're still talking.
Nobody in their right mind that we told said, you're crazy for flying that bird as a yearling. Then it turned around and gave us that good win in Hearst.
Yeah.
And they said to us, you're crazy to go to Long Lac. Hey, you ride her till she bucks you or you don't ride at all.
But he was a yearling.
He was a yearling. And we flew him, what, 12 weeks? We cooked him. We shouldn't have. But we did. Would we have done it again? I probably wouldn't have went to Long Lac with him.
Not as a yearling. I take him to Hearst, 450 miles.
But then again, he looked invincible. He felt great.
Yeah.
And his half brother, he came good. But that's a fun story. So gifted pigeons, if someone gifts you a pigeon, I'm saying if someone gifts you a pigeon.
I don't think he meant it that way.
Well, I'm going to say he's meaning it that way.
A gift, as a gift. But a gifted pigeon, that's like saying, you know what? Ricky, I watch Richard.
Hey,
he's quite gifted guy.
Where's my gifted pigeon?
No. Gifted, that's great.
Curtis is doing good, your gifted pigeon boy.
He could be a gifted pigeon.
I think he's
But if I gave it to you as a gift, that's a different story.
Some people suffer from the fear of flying. Mike says this. Now, okay, Mike hits this is great. Some people suffer the fear of flying.
I
Yeah,
think he's right.
it is.
Yes, there is.
I bought these birds. Listen, I bought the birds. I'm not gonna fly. I'm gonna fly them 3 races, then I'm gonna stop them till next year. You don't know nothing. Get out there and fly them. Go and enjoy them. Let them show you. Let them show you. Put the work in and let them show you. Don't be afraid to lose. Without finding the losers, you ain't never going to find the winners.
I say they should fly 4 years, young birds and 3 old bird series, and then at the end of 4 years, if you still have them, see how. Put your notes down.
Listen, for every year you fly the pigeon, you learn a little more about the pigeon. So if you can fly the pigeon as a young bird, you fly him as a yearling, then you fly him as a 2-year-old. After that point, by this point you figured out, was he good only as a young bird? Or did he take a little more time to mature? And then you found out, is he better in distance? Is he better this way? Is he better that way? And you understand the pigeon. But take a pigeon that wins 150 miles, you're a new guy. Holy shit, I just won Berks Falls, or I won a North Bay, or I won a race. I won one race. One race.
Yeah.
I got to stock that bird. I'm breeding out of it. It's my first win. No, enjoy the pigeon. Keep going. See, how many wins does the pigeon have in him? You know, hey, look at...
How many times can he be in the top 10%?
Wait. Okay, so Mike Vandriak says, Frank, do you let them out off and by? Okay, no. So this is about letting them out. Okay, so I'm not going to read that one. Thomas agrees with us, but don't be afraid to fly, and remember, you're not going to win off the start. I don't think anybody really wins. You know, you're learning, and the only way to learn is to get your butt kicked. You get scares, things happen. So you got to be you got to be okay with that. If you're not, this game is not for you.
Well, otherwise, or you might have a whole you got to push. You got to make the pigeons work. If that pigeon can't go once a week to the races, can't keep up his physicalness once a week to the races, he shouldn't be there.
Right.
It's like a football team or a soccer team or whatever those teams, hockey teams. If they can't play one game a week, they shouldn't be there.
Oh, right? They got to be able to build themselves back,
so
bring themselves back.
What happens if you play a hockey game on Saturday night and you're tired out and anything else, you tell the coach, sorry, but I ain't playing next Saturday night. No.
By next Saturday, you're normally
you got to be there, right? And they're only flying 8 or 9 races a year.
Right. And basically the first 4 weeks, they're under about 3 hours on the wing. So very, not difficult.
Now, if the pigeon screws up and he comes home 3 days after, Saturday's liberation, and you don't get him till Tuesday, and he's down, then
you give him a hold. Give him a pass.
You got to be reasonable with the pigeon. You just don't say, hey, buddy, you got to fly every Saturday. Because maybe he got down. Maybe he. Right.
We got the pigeon here in the one loft. So yesterday we had two or three pigeons that came late.
Right.
Little late, and they looked like, what the hell happened?
Right.
Okay. Today I'm handing them, putting them through. I pulled those 2 birds. I put them to the side.
Okay.
Just said, no, you get the day off today.
Right.
Now today we had 2 pigeons come late.
Yeah.
Both were Mo the Cheese guys.
Really?
Now I know them.
Right.
They're like,
strong.
yes, they're bulls.
Yeah.
They came late. That yellow group got in with somebody. They came together. They went in. I looked. I handled one quickly. He feels even better than when he went. So I know tomorrow he can go. But you're constantly looking and analyzing. And guys, it's okay to say, hey, give him a break. You can give him a break.
You got to be fair.
Got to be fair.
And I like to see a pigeon when he comes home from a race, if it was a little bit tough, and you'll see it. When he comes home, takes a drink of water, sometimes they don't even want to eat. So they get on the perch.
So here's Mike saying, Mike said, he used to fly Widowhood cocks 10 or 11 weeks in a row, but he tried to adjust them. So, if you put him into a week that was a 350 miler, the next week, he'd bring him back to 100 miles or 125 miles. He'd go back, he'd go forth. And what he's doing is he's keeping them working, but he's resting the wing time.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's what we did with that pigeon, that roller coaster. We started on, because we only had 10 cocks.
Right.
We only flew the regular program. We went from week 1 right to the end, constantly graduating.
Right.
And I will tell you, we had a pigeon that you purchased from Joe Formosa at an auction. He was a mediocre young bird.
I went to an auction.
Yeah, I'll tell the story.
How much did I pay for that?
You paid $50 for it, 25
No,
bucks.
it was 35 bucks.
35 bucks. There you go. But that pigeon was not a very good young pigeon. Just the middle of the packer, big Jansen-based pigeon.
I picked it out.
He picked him out. And I'm going to tell you, as a
And
year...
what did you say to me when I brought him home? You said, where did you buy this piece of junk?
Actually,
I went to the auction.
proper pronunciation was, what made you pick that piece of shit?
Yeah.
No, and you know what? Mediocre of the pack, young bird.
Yeah, mediocre. Just
Garbage.
Steady.
And I went and bought one out in Tilsonburg that was very good as well. But those 2 pigeons that we both purchased, we turned around and flew them as yearlings.
Yeah.
You can look up the pigeon's number. I think it's number 661 something. As a yearling, he flew every race, including Long Lac, the same year as the roller.
No, I don't think we took him to Long Lac.
We took him there.
Did we?
Did we? We took him to Long Lac the first year? Maybe we did.
So.
Maybe we only took him up to Hearst.
Yeah, Hearst.
He finished 3rd champion bird in the combine. The next year, we put him back as a 2-year-old. We did the same pace to him. This pigeon was the type of pigeon that would come, hit the board and go in. Hit the board and go in. He never looked at the rooftop. He never looked at the Twisted Sister. He just hit the board and go in. Hit the board and go in. Bing, bing, bing. Making points. Racking points. Tony Elvis knew the pigeon and he's on. We flew him as a 2-year-old. I can still remember. We took him to Hearst.
He gave up.
First time ever. He landed on the house roof.
First time on the house roof.
First time he landed on the house roof, and he just stood there, and he gave us that look like, you sons of a bitches. You know what? I've been doing this.
I'm sick of
And
it.
then we sent him again.
What happened? We lost him.
No, it took him 2 weeks to come back. And basically, he changed. You could see. He stopped. He was done.
Yeah.
He was El Cookdo. Good evening, Michael Peebler. Sorry, yes, Ron. My young birds fly all 8 weeks of the young bird schedule. Yeah, I don't think that's bad. That's fine. Fly them all 8 weeks. You know what? We only get 8 weeks of racing, so you know what? You might as well fly them. What are you going to do?
I know that Don Glione, he passed away, but he used to fly in the far north over here in Oak Ridge as he lived, on North Road. And he'd say to me, I send them every week, he said. That's what their job is. He said, they got to go every single week. And he did that. And he won a lot of races. He had birds that wouldn't stop.
Well,
he had one bird one time came in, and that's when we used to have to manually take the rubber off and manual clock them. It hit a wire and took both its legs off.
Yeah.
No legs.
Right.
I'm not talking about broken.
Yeah.
I'm talking off. He said he went off the clock. The bird come in race time. He said, I went in the loft. The pigeon's on the floor doing this.
Yeah.
He said, what the heck? Picked the pigeon off.
No legs.
No legs. Hit a wire, took the legs off, but still came in. The other one was a good story was Ben Hoovelman from Hearst. Top-notch flyer. Ben's passed away as well. He had a pigeon come home from Hearst one time, right in the money, right in, had a drink of water, went into its box, died. Heart attack.
Could have been from cold water on the chest, but
maybe cold water.
like Thomas says, his mentor says that's popping the cork. When you take them too far, you got to watch. They have so much mileage in them, and the little bird, I mean, if you look at what these pigeons do week in, week out, they blow any human athlete out of the friggin' water. They really do. Quite a little animal to take the torture and the punishment. I mean, Again, we had that bird from Classic Flight. It came in. That pigeon felt to me like it flew close to 500 miles. I mean, just withered to dust and flew it. He's still, when you let him out now in your hand in the loft, you see him. He just goes like this with his wings. Like
he's so stiff he can't move.
The acid in it,
he's got no more muscle.
But we're going to try and rebuild him on that. Hey, this isn't a bad show. If you guys have any questions or whatever, we're just sort of roundtable talking it tonight. A little different. Leah's off tonight. We got some internet issues up there, so we're switching up how we did it today. Same with the training. Question: how many years does it take before you get out of the heartbreak hotel of losing birds? Well, you know what? How do you get out of it? You know what?
I don't think you ever get out of it.
You don't get out of it, but you start to learn. You have to say, I got to find the ones that want to be here too, right? That figure it out. You know, if every time you let birds out and you're losing them and you're getting down, you're not going to stay in it. You got to get a little bit of a thick skin. And you go with a guy like Jim Groves that said, I drove him 113 miles. I'm going to let him out. It's pouring rain. Hell with it. They're going to land. They're going to dry off. Then they're going to come home. But what if they don't come home?
Well,
why would I think like that?
I've taken pigeons up the road, and early in the morning, the fog was so thick. When I got there, you couldn't see literally 10 feet in front of you. It was just thick. I let them go in heavy, heavy fog. And soon I let them go. Within a second, you couldn't see nothing. They come through. Yeah, and I don't like to do it, but
Mike says it's a part of the game, and that's right. It is a part of the game, and it's the same part of the game when you send your birds to any of these one-loft races, or you send them to a handler to handle the pigeon. You can't nitpick and bitch and whine. I don't like what he's doing. I don't like this. You should have done your homework before. Okay? And you have to accept you're going to lose birds. You may lose all your birds, and you're gambling. So you know what? It's one of those things. Rita, you're going to get over it. Just sort of, you know what? Don't make little pet names for them at first.
You don't
just let them be pigeons.
You don't get a top-notch racehorse by having it sit in the stall.
No.
Okay. A soccer coach has a darn good players, but if he looks at him and says, that player, like Ronaldo or any of them, I ain't playing him. He's so darn good, I can't play him. Because if he rips a hamstring, he's done. Well, you're never going to win a game. You got to play the thing.
You got to play. You have to win. You have to be willing to lose and accept losing. That's it.
Like a pigeon makes mistakes.
Yes.
Like you lose.
You lose.
Right.
And that's what, you know what, Rita, I'm going to tell you something. There's going to be one pigeon you have there this year, and you're going to fly, and you lose it, and that'll be the pigeon that you remember. Like, oh, look at how good that one was. And then the next year, you're going to have 5 birds, 10 birds, 15 birds. It gets better and better and better. But you just have to be, you don't have to, don't over-concentrate on it.
I'm going to use Mo again, and I talk about Mo. Mo had an incident a couple weeks ago where a raccoon got in and ate 15 of his birds, young birds.
Right.
He ended up with 14 young birds left.
Right.
Out of his group.
Right.
He's training them now. He's got them up to 38 miles.
Right.
Right. Miles, not kilometers.
Okay.
And this week he had 2 birds hit the hydro wire. One broke its leg, and the other one's ripped itself open somewhere. So he's got 12 left, and he's so happy.
He's flying.
Yeah, he's happy. He says, I got 12 left. He says, boy, they're really coming good. Everything's good. And he's going to fly with 12 pigeons. And, and if he has 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 left at the end, he's going to be happy. He's going to be proud. And he's doing it respectively to the birds.
That's right. Henry Henry Winter says, tossed my birds 25 kilometers today. Same place, 3 tosses, 5 didn't come back. Hey, that's okay. What I like to see, though, that's what Mo's doing is he's flying the pigeons. He's working together. He had some lows. He might, you know what? He may have the 12 best pigeons. We don't know. But you want to know what he's not doing? He ain't making excuses, is he?
No.
Not putting his thumb in his mouth and saying, oh, it didn't work, and oh, it didn't work, and no. Playing the game. And that's positive. And good sportsman. And, you know, I can see it. He's having fun, right? Last year in our Pioneer, he got his ass kicked. I felt bad for him. His pigeon had a bad wing, and he couldn't come home. It was this. I said, I don't know if Mo's going to come back, right? This year, he's got firecrackers in here.
Yeah.
Because you know why? You can't enter these races and win every year. And if you think you're going to do that,
You got to lose to win.
you got to lose to win.
Yeah. Something else I was going to say. Mo was telling me in Morocco again, those guys that fly there, they're ruthless. Like they fly those pigeons. He says they got to get out there and do that job.
But
They don't candy ass anybody.
No, but this is it seems to be over there. It's a bit different, and you know I get that. All we're saying is stop making excuses. Don't worry about losing them. Try and be sensible. Go to work. You know that's it.
Gerard and I went up the road today, and we liberated Gerard separately. And we had 2 groups to let go.
Yeah.
He's got some that are a little younger, so we let them go at the 9-mile mark.
Right.
At the track.
Yeah.
Right. And Gerard goes, if they come home, they come home. He called his wife up for a half hour later or something. She said, oh, out of the 9, you got 1 back. Gerard goes, oh, either the rest come or they don't, right? So you got to be a little
relaxed. Yeah. And that's why we say if you're real paranoid or whatever, for your first few tosses, for sure, don't go home right away. Just go out for 2 hours and come home and go, oh look, they're all here. Then you can say in your brain, I bet you they did it in 2 or 3 minutes.
I had a good toss.
I had a good toss. Pretty good show. We're doing pretty good tonight.
We're not doing.
You guys don't have too many questions, but again, training with the Pioneer birds. Again, tomorrow we're going to go. It says 50% chance of rain. We're going to have them out in the morning. They're going to go at about 6 in the morning. They're going to go for their loft fly. Again, locking them out. Let them do their thing. Hawk wasn't around at all here today.
I seen him.
You did?
Yeah,
I did. He's not hunting though.
That's the male. That's the smaller one I seen. He's about this big.
Okay.
He's not. He's just playing with them.
Yeah, he's just learning where they are.
He's getting ready for September, the end of September.
So we're gonna have them out loft flying. We're gonna basket them up. We'll get the training in tomorrow. We're gonna go back to the same spot again in groups. We're gonna go back there again. We're not in that big of a rush. We'll play it from that spot again. Hopefully they can pick it up. Hopefully all 4 groups. And we did talk. I talked with Leah and yourself about changing up and putting the Reds with the other teams. No, we're going to fly the 4 teams. We're going to continue to do that because that's how we started it. I think it's fun. Now that Red group, they only have about 8 pigeons in it, but they're getting more back. So that's interesting. See how that's going to go. I guess that's it. I don't know. Nobody has any questions? Anybody? Any questions? Anyone want to yell at us?
I was going to say something. If you get a pigeon back from a race and it's a working race, he had to work a bit in his headwind and a bit of heat. When he comes home, he should look tired. That shows that he's worked. In other words, he sits a little bit humped up on the perch or in his box, and he looks tired. But you should be able to go back in there 2 hours later, and he should bounce right back. At that, what I'm saying is the constitution or
You know,
whatever it is in the body,
you know-
he should bounce back, and the next day he should look like he never went anywhere.
You know,
now, if you get a pigeon
hold on,
on a
hold
hard
on.
day,
Hold on. Well, those
Yeah,
those
right.
those birds that we played with last week that had the hell of a toss.
right,
The whole group had a hell of a toss. The
Right.
whole.
right,
If you looked at the droppings
right,
in the morning, the droppings were all off.
they were loose.
They were
Yeah.
loose. You could
Yeah.
see the birds had went through a load of stress, and you see
Right.
it in the droppings. The morning when I basket them, the droppings were perfect, tight, small, beautiful. That night, droppings were off. Seen the birds look ruffled. The birds had never ripped and tore. Stress on the brain to that level, and you could see it took those birds about 2 solid days before everything sealed back up. So, guys, look at the droppings.
I say a pigeon should bounce
Yes.
back
It's orange.
quickly. If you raced on Saturday, by Sunday afternoon or by Monday morning for sure, it should be bounced back to, right? If you see that pigeon on Wednesday or Thursday still sitting humped up and not putting any body back on, he's in trouble. He's got something. He's either sick or he can't come back. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
He's weak.
Ryan, you need to build an elevator, for the Twisted Sister. And again, like Henry Winter says, whenever you take them out, anything can happen. Remember, guys, you can buy the best feed, the best vitamins, the best pigeons, the best trainer, the nicest basket, everything. Loft line great, your training great. Every time you let them out, that's the only time it's on them. They have to do it.
Even loft flying. When you let your pigeons out for a loft fly, he's not your pigeon anymore. The only time he's your pigeon is when he comes in. Right?
Right, yeah, that's right.
That's it.
So what is okay, so what there's a big difference in how many races old birds can fly to the nest versus widowhood. Yeah. I think you know what, I haven't flown enough old birds like concentrated like super hard, so you know what? I'd like to though. I'd like to get into that. No, we're not going to build him an elevator. He's working on his calf muscles, Ricky is, but thanks.
But I don't have to worry because my wife has she has life insurance on me, so I don't have to worry anymore.
Yeah, you know what? Ricky goes with his new training method. He goes, listen, there's a few ways we can do this. We can build an elevator, we can build stairs, or we just lose more of the birds. The more birds we lose, the less baskets I take up, less baskets come down. So his new training method, this is a training method for double-story lofts that you're doing. Picture book. This is going to be great. We're going to have to write a book on that one. Your Pioneer Club series must be starting up soon. Yes, that'll be starting up. We're going to be bringing home the transporter for our fun-filled 12 hours of don't just stand there, start painting. We're going to videotape Ricky as he does 12 hours of priming and painting.
I do it, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know,
if you help me, it's only 6.
Hey, listen, there's a problem, eh? I have HDRD.
Yeah.
You seen how I colored as a little kid? You don't want me painting. Maybe a set of stairs with a landing halfway. Yes, Mike, I think that I'm going to give you some hearts for that. Let's get a landing going. We were actually, now that school's out, we were going to go to our local school. Don't say anything, okay? We were going to steal the swirly slide.
Oh.
So we get the ladder up, the swirly slide down.
You know what? If you build me a set of stairs with my luck, the first time I use them, I'm going to fall and break my neck.
Do you want me to tell you how it'll go? I'll build you a beautiful set of stairs, right?
Right.
You'll lose all the young birds that day training. I seen it happen.
I got a contract with the aluminum company on that ladder. I got a 60-year contract.
You should see when my big 260 goes on that ladder, she just bends. She's like a feather light or whatever you call her. But so yeah, we're going to be doing that tomorrow. we will have the birds out. We'll be going back to that same spot of 20 miles. You did have to adjust where we're going because there's nowhere to go. So you're just a couple miles up from there.
A couple miles up. We found a nice sod farm, real nice sod farm, with must be 100-acre sod farm with a laneway going right straight through the center.
Okay.
And beautiful spot.
So Mo the cheese man, he says, what do you think is the best distance to get your birds trained out to before the first race? I'm going to say, Mo, with young pigeons, I think anywhere's from 70 to 90 miles. I think that's a good number. It gives you time on the wing. It gives them, you sort of understand. I know once we get out to Gravenhurst and Bracebridge and they start pounding that off, no problem.
That's about 80 miles.
80 miles, and they're an hour and a half on the wing. Maybe they hit a headwind that day. They're 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yep. You start to know how the Army's working.
We give them a good run at that Lake Simcoe.
Yeah, we give them
they got, 20, 30-mile run at the lake.
So Mo, I'm going to say, at least Mo, 70 miles, 75 miles. I mean, Gravenhurst there is good. For you, I think Gravenhurst Mo is perfect, and you're right in Pigeon Alley there. So
yeah, he's got a good spot
now. You're in a real good spot, Mo. Again, just keep taking your time. It never hurts to take them to the race point. Yeah, that's the same thing. Our first race point is going to be Huntsville. Again, just get them out so they're well over an hour and a half on that wing, and they're building. I think that's what it is. But yeah, first race point. And, you can take them 75 miles, back them to 30 miles, 75 miles, back them to 30 miles, back them to 30 miles, take them back up again to 75 miles. Remember, though, if you're training heavy like that, you need to give them the groceries. Yeah. You need to build them. You're taking them out an hour and a half, 2 hours. You want to give them some recoup. You want to give them some boost. You want to give them the gasoline into them. My birds right now, they're still dark underneath. Scaly still. Some of them are cleaning up, but I haven't started really giving them stuff I want to give them. Because again, you don't ever want to peak before the races. So that's a bit of time there.
If they're purple underneath, they're developing muscle.
Yeah. And that's another thing. When you see the birds, the feathers are all covered up, and you see, and they're all.
You see scale.
You pull the feathers apart, and it's scaly and dark purple and that. Purple. And they still feel strong and muscular. They're ripping and tearing muscle. That's what they're doing. That's called bruised, right? It's bruised muscle. That's what I call it anyways. I might be wrong on that, but when I go to the races, the day of shipping, I want them nice and clean underneath, pink like ham. I don't want scaly, dark pigeons. We had a pigeon that was in the, hold on, what's this? Try to organize a club toss. Yeah, that's good. Good idea. Club tosses are good. We had a pigeon one time. It was in the Texas shootout. It was, I think, a four race series. The first 3 races, I think there was about 1,000 birds in the race, and we had the 7th best average speed bird. We flew down. I was guaranteeing to pull this bird across the board. This bird was on fire. We went, put the bird in our hands. The bird wasn't blown out. Looked underneath, scaly, purple. We didn't bet on the pigeon at all. The pigeon came from that race about 3 hours behind the winning birds. And you could see the bird wasn't in blown out form. It wasn't primed to go. He had to pop the cork. He blew himself out before. So, yeah. So things to look for. And we're going to look at that. Again, you take a look. Yesterday, we gave the birds back to Ricky Cruz. Right? He pulled himself out of Pioneer Village.
They were beautiful shapes.
They were blowing out nice. The skin was nice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Those were 2 nice pigeons. And you know what was great? Mo said to me.
Weren't they hens? Both hens.
And Mo said to me, boy, I would have loved to bought those and kept them in the game. You know what? It's sad. Those 2 poor pigeons. Hey, it is what it is. Wait, we got a question. Jeff Henderson. This year, our birds only were tossed to 8 kilometers, then straight into the first 120-kilometer race. We were out to about 240. Okay. So, okay. Jeff's baking a cake a little differently, right? He only had the birds out to 8 kilometers. And then
how many tosses?
Jeff, how many times did you take him to 8 kilometers? And then the first race was 120 kilometers.
Right.
So what's that?
120
kilometers
is
60 miles.
No, 60 miles. 63 miles is 100 kilometers.
Okay, so 70 miles.
70 miles, yeah.
And 8 kilometers is what? 2 miles. Jeff.
5 miles.
5 miles. Okay. So
100.
All right, Jeff.
85 miles. 80 miles.
Okay. Hey, you know what? He's doing it. Maybe he takes him there a whack of times.
You know,
everyone's different.
How much log flying is he doing?
That's another thing.
If he's doing an hour in the morning, an hour at night, that's training.
12. He took him there 12 times.
12 times.
12 times. So he's just teaching the brain to the same spot as well, I would take it. I'm just asking him if it's the same spot.
They must be in good shape.
It must be in good shape.
They have to be.
I think Jeff's from Australia. I would bet there's got to be a lot of wind there too.
But he forgot to say it was an 80-mile-an-hour tailwind.
Yeah, the first race is an 80-mile-an-hour tailwind.
Does he have birds where the tails go up a bit like this?
Yeah. Oh, wait. And then wait, we don't know. But Jeff, the first time he could have went there, the birds could have taken 2 hours to come from the 8 kilometers. So that's, again, giving them time on the wing.
Yeah, if it took him 2 hours to come from 8 kilometers, that's
Jeff,
good condition there.
We're only playing with you, Jeff.
Yeah,
but hey,
right.
that's good. You see? People watching. This is a guy did something totally different.
Right.
Totally different. It works for him. Now, reading between the lines, I got to know everything that he did to do that and how he did it, right? Right? He maybe has his birds open hole. There's little things he's probably doing. So, guys, just because you read what he says here, don't think you're going to do that.
But
he has his system.
For example, fellows that we met in Belgium, they only train them maybe 5 times.
Yep, super fit, he said.
When I talk to the guys in Belgium, it says, well, how much training you do? They say, we train every day. I says, how much you train? Once in the morning, an hour, and once at night, an hour. That's what they call training. I said, no, how do you take them in your car? We only go 5 times in the car, and they end up 20 kilometers. They stop.
Right.
But the same guy, he's in with 3 different clubs.
Right.
He's got a club that only flies 100 kilometers and a club that flies 180 kilometers. And then he's got another club that flies...
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
It's different.
So what he does...
We don't have that.
What he does is he goes to that club.
Right.
And he takes them...
He jumps them up.
And that's right. And that's all training. They fly 100 kilometers in that club, right?
Jeff says he had them super fit, and they're flying. Their races are about 1,200 meters per minute. So good racing. That's good racing.
Good, yeah.
But he said he had them super fit. So remember, that means they're loft flying very well.
He's feeding them right. And he's trained them 12 times, basket 12 times.
Right. So he got them going. There you go. So there's someone else's idea. What else do I got to say? Not a lot. 3 Gatorades in.
That could be bad for your health, eh?
Ever since I've been on the Gatorade, guess what?
I don't know.
I've been having more fun. Been having a lot more fun.
Drink a lot of orange juice and watch what happens.
Right.
A lot of fruit juice.
Fruit juice.
And when I go to Mexico, too much fruit juice.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah. Enjoy the pink toilet paper, Ricky. So, hopefully you guys like what we're doing here. Again,
if you build me a set of stairs, I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
I'm not building you a set
I'm
of
going to
stairs.
put my aluminum ladder
up
for auction.
Up for auction or prize?
Well,
prize.
What I'm going to do is cut it up in pieces. Every week somebody wins 2 feet of it.
Mike's first Youngbird race is 300 kilometers. Yep, that's a far one.
Wow.
Well, that's because where he lives, right down there. Anyone triple or double toss? If so, when after you train the whole team out? Anyone triple or double toss? Yeah, we've done the doubles and triple tosses. Mike, if you talk to Mike here, he'll tell you about his single tossing little move he does. He likes to single toss. Again, double toss, triple toss, groups of 5. Smaller groups is always good. Good to help him out. Find some more leaders, as we say.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But again, I don't think you got to get overly crazy on it. So don't think, I don't think you have to really. What else? Any more questions? No. Birds are coming back slowly. We'll keep going. We're hoping by the end of the week to get to start the sprint races in. Well over $11,000 now in the sprint. So that's going to go good. Remember, we're paying on a first, second, and third clocking order, 50, 30, 20. I think the pot now is almost at $3,000 per race. I think it's like $2,900. So the 3 prizes, they're going to be good prizes, you know.
Very good.
And there's still birds left to activate, Thomas. That's how I feel too. Yeah, Thomas, okay. I'm glad. I enjoy your show. Good luck. Hey, Thomas, we enjoy you coming on. This is my first time getting to read the comments because normally Leah's here spinning the 1s and 2s, and today it's me. My reading is horrible, so
You're getting better.
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. Actually, they're thinking about getting me to read books for the internet, like so you just listen to the books being read to you. They want me to do that.
Okay.
But thanks, Thomas. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. Good insight tonight. Again, sorry we were a bit late, but it's Monday night. We like to do the family show, get it going. Not too many questions, so we're gonna wrap this up. I think we'll wrap it up pretty soon. If anybody has any more questions, if not, hey, we can wrap it up.
What I'd like to say is we're getting a little more competitive on the show. People are listening, and we're going to be soon competing against some of the listeners. And I always like to say before I leave some of my competitors, I hope your best pigeon hits a wire.
I hope your best pigeon or all your pigeons?
Well, his best one. I don't want him to all his pigeons because he's going to.
You have nobody to fly.
Then I'm going to have no competition, maybe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Or he won't have me for competition. You see what I mean? Or I won't have him.
Yeah, that you are right on.
Right on.
So again, guys, Ricky is hoping that your best pigeon
hits a wire.
And actually, after that, the next time out, he hopes your second best pigeon hits a wire. And it goes on and on. Good stuff tonight, Tracy. Yes, Mo, Chrissy, Henry, Mike, Ken, Jeff, Karloft, Antbar, James Timothy Walters, the Cheese Man Mo. If you guys want cheese, he is your man. Remember, he is the best smelling pigeon man I've ever smelled. I'm going to have to introduce him to Gordy. Inch by inch, brick by brick, mile by mile, this is what we do. We bring it to you, the ups, the downs, the highs, and the lows. And hey, guys, my name's Ryan, and nobody likes me. That's Ricky.
Yep.
That's me, the guy nobody likes. Thanks for flying with us. You guys have a great evening. Bye for now.